My name is Margaret. I am 70 years old. When people look at me now, they only see an old woman with weak hands and tired eyes. But once I was young. Once I was strong. Once I was needed. This house you see behind me was built with love, with sacrifice, with dreams. It was not always quiet like this. Many years ago, this house was full of noise, children running, utensils clanging, laughter filling every corner. I cooked food from early morning till late night. I washed clothes, I cleaned floors, I stayed awake when my children were sick. I prayed when they were scared. I never complained, because that is what mothers do. My husband and I saved every dollar to educate our children. We ate less so they could eat more. We wore old clothes so they could wear new ones. I believed one thing very strongly. If you give your children love, they will return it. I was wrong. Time does not stop for anyone. My husband grew weak, and then one day he left me forever. After his death, the house felt empty, but I still had my children, or so I thought. Slowly, things began to change. My sons grew busy. They spoke less. They listened less. Their wives came into the house, and with them came new rules. I tried to adjust. I always tried. One day, I noticed something painful. They stopped asking me anything. No one asked what I thought. No one asked what I wanted. I became invisible in my own home. One afternoon, I was standing near the kitchen. I heard my sons talking in low voices. She needs care all the time. She is always tired. She is becoming a burden. I stood still. My hands trembled. My heart sank. They were talking about me, their mother. A few days later, my elder son called me. He said, "Mom, sit down." His voice was calm, too calm. He said, "You should go stay with your daughter for some time." Some time. I understood what he really meant. I looked at his face, the same face I once kissed to sleep, the same face I prayed for every day. I asked softly, "Am I causing problems for you?" No one answered. Silence answered instead. The next morning, my clothes were packed. One small bag. My entire life reduced to a bag. No one asked what I needed. No one asked how long I would be gone. My younger son avoided my eyes. His wife looked away. There were no hugs, no goodbye kiss. I walked slowly to the front door. This door I had opened thousands of times for my children, for family dinners, for holidays. Now it was closing on me. There was no shouting, no anger, just quiet rejection. That hurts the most. I stepped outside. The door closed behind me. Now I sit near a small park most days. I watch people pass by. I watch mothers holding their children's hands. I watch families laughing together. Sometimes I smile. Sometimes tears fall without permission. I ask myself, did I love too much? Did I give too much? Or did the world forget how to care for the old? Every night I whisper a prayer. I pray for my sons. I pray for their health. I pray for their happiness. Even after everything, I cannot stop being a mother, because a mother's heart does not know how to stop loving. Some mornings I wake up before the sun, not because I have somewhere to go, but because sleep doesn't hold me the way it used to. The room is quiet, too quiet. I listen to sounds that aren't there anymore. Footsteps in the hallway, a door opening, someone calling my name. But the silence always answers first. I sit on the edge of the bed and wait for my body to catch up with my thoughts. Growing old feels like this. Your mind moves forward, but your body asks for permission. I make tea the way I always have. Same cup, same slow movements. I pour carefully because my hands shake now. No one sees it, so it doesn't matter. Still, I apologize to myself when a little spills. I don't know why. Maybe I spent my whole life apologizing. Sometimes I talk to the walls, not because I've lost my mind, but because the walls have heard everything before. They heard my children crying as babies. They heard laughter at dinner tables. They heard arguments, slammed doors, rushed goodbyes. Now they hear my breathing, steady, lonely. Once I tried to visit my eldest son. I stood outside his house longer than I should have. I watched lights turn on and off inside. I heard laughter, voices I didn't recognize. I raised my hand to knock, then I lowered it. I told myself he was busy. I told myself I didn't want to disturb him. The truth was simpler. I was afraid he wouldn't open the door. So I walked away quietly, the same way I was asked to leave my own home. People assume being thrown out happens with shouting. It doesn't. It happens with calm voices, with excuses, with sentences like, "It's better this way, Mom." Better for whom? No one ever answered that. At the park, I feed birds with crumbs from my bread. They come close to me. They trust me. Sometimes one sits near my feet, its tiny heart beating fast. I smile. Even birds know when someone means no harm. There are days when I feel invisible, but there are also days when I feel strangely strong, because surviving abandonment teaches you something powerful. You learn how to stand even when no one is holding you. I remember telling my children stories at night. They would ask me to repeat the same ones again and again. Now I am the story, and no one is asking me to repeat it. If I could speak to my children without fear, I would tell them this: I don't need apologies. I don't need explanations. I just want to know you remember me, even once in a while. Sometimes strangers treat me kinder than family ever did. A young woman once offered me her seat on the bus. She smiled and said, "You remind me of my grandmother." I almost cried, not because of the seat, but because someone remembered what grandparents are supposed to mean. As evening comes, the air grows cold. I pull my coat tighter. I whisper a small prayer, not for myself, but for them, because bitterness poisons the one who carries it, and I have carried enough. I don't know how many days I have left. None of us do. But I know this: I loved deeply. I gave everything I had. I raised children who survived, even if they forgot who helped them survive. And that has to be enough. If you are listening to me right now, please hear this clearly. One day, your parents will stop calling, not because they stopped loving you, but because they got tired of feeling unwanted. Call them before that happens. I will keep waking up, keep making tea, keep sitting on my bench, and if one day my children come looking for me, I hope they find me still loving them, because that is what mothers do, even when the world forgets them.